Southampton, on the other hand, beaten 1-0 at Newcastle United in their last league outing. They're now hoping to put the brakes on a rotten run after such a promising start to the season. Those are the Blades in their home strip of red and white, and that is a piercing run in the early stages. Sheffield United looking to make a very fast start as Bristow turns the ball back. Will break in the direction of Andrews. Lafayette looking for a Rook. That's Devlin. In need of some support out there. Eventually finds it in Rouse. It is the last time in 2025 that we will be able to bring you the WSL 2 action for you on the WSL 2 YouTube channel around the world, right here from Bramall Lane in South Yorkshire. Half the season in the books. Glance at the current standings will tell you that nothing is off the table for these two sides for the second half of the campaign. Simon Parker, who you can see at the bottom of your shot there, called this a massive game. The Southampton head coach. He's not had a huge amount to be all that impressed with recently with how his squad have been performing. Started the season so very well indeed. Haven't won in the league now since the early middle part of October. That's neat though from Andrews. Lafayette's ball finds Devlin. And from a Sheffield United perspective, this is a marked improvement on what they saw last season. Luke Turner, the head coach, saying that he was disappointed with the performance in their last league outing, but they did get a good response in the FA Cup, winning 1-0 at fellow WSL 2 side Durham. The Blades playing themselves into danger at Bristol City a fortnight ago. That was what led to the opening goal in that game, so certainly can't allow themselves to fall into a similar trap today. Revel is going to do that as Brazil finds Primus, but the referee's whistle's already gone. Brazil perplexed. Player of the year at Charlton last season, before leaving for the South Coast. Who'd have thought Charlton will have raced to the front of the WSL 2 table in the early half of this season. A battle in the middle of that midfield. Bashford involved for Southampton in that away strip of yellow and blue. A reminder, 2 changes for Simon Parker's Southampton, as Mott and Palmer replace Peplow and Ferguson. Both of those latter two there have dropped to the substitutes bench, as you were for Luke Turner and Sheffield United. Simply doesn't have the squad depth to be able to make too many changes. It's a long, direct ball. And the goalkeeper, Sean Rogers, does well. Good starting position. Defenders will thank her for coming out and sweeping up any prospective danger. Rogers, who kept a clean sheet, her only clean sheet in the league so far this season, in Sheffield United's last home league outing, which was a goalless draw against Nottingham Forest. Rogers just about skips that to Lafayette. Bashford. It's good football from Southampton in the early stages of this game, trying to take the impetus, but that's a really good challenge from Bristow, and Devlin will try her luck first time. Would have had to have been inch perfect, and it wasn't. Has it in a locker, though, vastly experienced Charlie Devlin. And already has 3 goals to her name so far this season. That's Lauren Thomas with the throw-in. Will know the Southampton manager very well. Spent 5 years at Blackburn, Simon Parker's former club. Brazil the target. Well headed away. But this is a good start from Southampton. They look dangerous. Brazil. McAloney wants it and gets it. The overlap is being offered now. Isabel Watts. Early ball from Watts into the gloves of the goalkeeper. Another early settling touch for Sian Rogers, having conceded 4 goals in the last game in the WSL too. As many settling, nerve-steadying touches as they can possibly get. Won't be turned up as Southampton try to recover the ball again. Sheffield United looking for a spell of possession in the early stages here at Bramall Lane. And ball forwards for Devlin, trying to find Andrews. Cut out on both occasions, though, by Amy Goddard. Crunching challenge. Southampton come up with it again. Bashford briefly. Brazil will chase. And well shepherded out by Lafayette. A very up and down first half of the season for Sheffield United. A 5-match winless run, followed by a 5-match unbeaten run, and then followed by that surprise hammering. You wonder now what for Luke Turner and his Blades. O'Rourke back to Lafayette. Southampton impressed away from home this season with 2 good wins at Birmingham and Portsmouth. Scored 5 in the South Coast derby. They are the second tier's highest scorers away from home, with 12 goals in 5 matches. Though form has departed them of late. Big chance for handball off McAloney. Referee Jodie Hunter well placed. Rouse wants to take it quickly, but we'll leave it for Lafayette instead. Ball just left slightly short for Revel by Cowan, but with Ellie Brazil always working hard, making a nuisance of herself, Revel read it well. Southampton winning both encounters last season. 2-0 on the South Coast and 3-2 here in South Yorkshire. That's a nice ball around the corner, and Andrews might well be away. But tracking back, though, by Southampton. An early sign of promise, though, for the Blades on a misty and miserly day at Bramall Lane. Millie Mott. One of those 2 changes today. Primus always in motion for the Saints. Palmer turns it round the corner. That's neat. Primus back to Palmer again. Bouncing awkwardly for the Sheffield United defenders. Revel's done well. Again, Brazil, the ever-present threat there, leading the line for Southampton. Good from Tilly Bristow. Shows such composure and maturity for a player who's just 18 years old. Palmer's header. Back in the opposite direction by Cowan. Bashford gets it down but gives it away. Rouse comes up with it. And Bristow picks it up again, looking to release Devlin. Snuffed out again, though, by those disciplined Saints defenders. It was quite the thriller when these two met in South Yorkshire last season. Now Lionesses star Lucia Kendall scored twice in that game as Southampton won 3-2. Here's Primus. Brought down perhaps by Cowan. No, the referee says to play on. Primus stays down. It's now Andrews' turn to try to make a nuisance of herself with the Southampton defenders. Easily dealt with, though, by Francis Stenson. Good take by McAloney. Mott helped on by Palmer. Brazil. McAloney again. Well read and picked off by O'Rourke. Ran out of options in the end. Taraborn. Good ball for Brazil. Now Isabel Watts. O'Rourke in front of her. This is Watts. Lafayette cuts it out for Sheffield United and takes no chances, putting that out for a Southampton throw-in. Played every single minute of every single league game so far, has Lafayette, and was an ever-present for Sheffield United last season as well. Watts with the throw-in, and safe to say Ellie Brazil's got that header all wrong. "26 years old, Ellie Brazil. Well, Atlanta Primus is 28 now, from London. Went to Cal State Fullerton in America. And then played for London City Lionesses and Charlton Athletic. She's now skipper, as you can see there. Very much leads by example. Spent last season at Charlton, where she played 10 times. Strong header by Goddard. Presence of her combined with that of Mary Bashford. Judged to have been too much physicality for referee Jodie Hunter's liking. Southampton, good touch down that left-hand side, but a really good recovering challenge made as well. That'll be a first corner kick, as Lauren Thomas had to get that right and did. And a first corner kick of the game it is and it falls to the visitors. So Amy Palmer then, who missed the start of the season due to a stress fracture, will take this. Primus will be a target. Amy Goddard certainly. And this is Goddard who attacks that. Well cleared away. Mott back into the mix. Bashford turns it goalwards. And a comfortable save for Sian Rogers. Bashford with 3 goals in the league already this season, looking to add to that tally. McAloney gives it away to Devlin, who looks to set Andrews away, but the assistance flag will go up. Up nice and early as well. And did look like she'd strayed 2 or 3 yards offside before the ball was slotted through to her by Devlin. It's one of 5 fixtures that you can watch today on the WSL 2 YouTube channel. We are the early kickoff here at Bramall Lane as Primus holds the ball up. Good tackling back by Kinzet. It will still result in a Southampton throw, taken quickly by Simpson. Primus again. Good challenge made by Kinzet. Still to come, 2 o'clock kickoff, Sunderland against Ipswich, Charlton, Forest, Birmingham City, Durham, and Portsmouth against Newcastle United. The Lasses victors, of course, against Southampton in their last league outing. Primus. Bashford does really well to get on the end of that. Goes down, wants the free kick. Referee content again to let play continue. This is now Devlin for Sheffield United. Amy Andrews, held up by Millie Mott. Devlin again. Bristow to aim at in the penalty area, as well as Andrews and O'Rourke arriving at the back post. Rouse. All very crowded over there on the far side of the pitch, if you can make it out through the mist. Perhaps that was why Sheffield United's attack broke down. Brazil chases after this one. Revel gets there first. Good tracking back by the 20-year-old Jess Revel. Already on her 2nd spell at Sheffield United. Left the Blades for Leicester City when she was still a teenager. Primus comes up with it for Southampton. Working it well in triangles. McAloney turns it out to Isabel Watts. Miscommunication that time, though. Seized upon by Bristow. Now Kinzet. And Devlin once more will try to find Amy Andrews. Always looking for each other. And that'll be a free kick, according to the assistant. It's Brazil herring after a loose ball again. We'll survey her options. We'll see that she has McAloney to aim at in the middle. Into her side, a second corner kick, this time cut out by Cowan. Really pacey, tricky forward to try and stay in front of. Spent a year in Italy playing for Fiorentina in Serie A, where she scored 3 times. Spent 4 years at Brighton, 2 at Spurs. as Amy Palmer will look to bend an inviting ball in. Bashford challenges for it. Simpson heads it goalwards and in. Southampton have the breakthrough. And it's Jess Simpson with the goal. She scored for England's under-23s earlier this month. And now has herself a third goal in Southampton colours. Well, it was an inviting ball, wasn't it? It fell really nicely for Jess Simpson. Still had a lot to do, though, to get that into the back of the net. She might well smile. Sheffield United 0, Southampton 1. It is just the start that Simon Parker will have wanted. For Sheffield United, though, a need to regroup now. Of course, beaten so heavily in their last league outing by 4-0. Enough to shake anybody's confidence, and here the Saints come again. Palmer has it. Jess Simpson joined Burnley when she was just 10 years old and then moved to Manchester United as an 11-year-old, won the Academy League and the Cup with Manchester United around 3 years or so ago. They rate her highly in Greater Manchester. Signed a new deal earlier this year, which will keep her at Old Trafford until 2027. Rourke trying to clear it away. Caught her, she did so. Bashford. Palmer digs one out. Not a million miles away. It's a goal that's worth a second look. A lot of it comes down to the quality of the delivery. There's 3-4 Sheffield United players on the goal line there that Simpson had to loop the ball over the head of. Did that expertly. Southampton have really got their tails up here. McAloney, it almost broke kindly for Palmer. Instead, Thomas comes up with it for Sheffield United. And middle point now of the first half, Devlin tussling the Southampton defender to the ground. The Blades need a bit of a breather. It's Tara Bourne over there who was fouled. Bourne's long ball turns into a pretty good one as McAloney lays chase to it. Just skipping off, and that always made Rodgers the favourites to receive it first. I'm sure you can tell by the footage on the camera that it's not exactly a crystal clear blue sky sort of day in South Yorkshire. This is Bashford. Now Palmer. Primus. Southampton getting a lot of joy from this left-hand side and winning the second ball time after time as well. Primus, though, sleeping there, has her pocket picked, and again, Andrews is the outlet, but Rouse's through ball fell far short of the standards needed to reach it. Ellie Brazil caught offside once more. Everybody glanced in the direction of the assistant on this near touchline. Southampton have won each of the last 4 meetings and 5 of the last 6. Sheffield United's only victory against Southampton coming in the April of 2023. That was a 1-0 win on the South Coast. The Saints have it again. Though as soon as I say that, the Blades have it back. Bristow trying to find an outlet down the right wing this time. And Primus has played that in behind Tara Bourne. You can see that Southampton have enjoyed almost double, in fact more than double, of the territorial advantage through the first 25 minutes or so of this game. Bourne often utilised as a centre-half to play alongside Amy Goddard, but playing left full-back today instead, as Millie Mott has come into the middle of the defence. Well, that's a really poor ball. Andrews, though, unable to bring it under a spell, and nobody will be more grateful than Palmer. Watts just about beating O'Rourke to that ball, and Brazil is chasing after it. And again, Rodgers will be grateful for the greasy surface at Bramall Lane that just took the ball away from the Southampton striker. Rouse, first time ball, will skip away from Andrews. A rare touch for Stenson there. McAloney coming in off of the right wing, but unable to stay on side. Sheffield United have fared quite well at home recently. Their last home outing ended in a 0-0 draw at home to Nottingham Forest. Unbeaten in their last 3 home matches, victories over Ipswich and Durham. The added incentive today for every team playing of getting something to smile about, make that Christmas dinner taste a little bit nicer with the winter break now only a couple of hours or so away. Southampton will restart proceedings in the new year with a South Coast derby against Portsmouth on the 10th of January. Sheffield United will be here again at home against Crystal Palace, most recently relegated side out of the WSL. Brazil wins it back for the Saints. Bourne as an option down that left wing, sprinting away after it. Plenty of options in the middle to aim at as well. A long-range effort from, might well have been Simpson in the end. She scored 1 goal after all, albeit that one was, let's say, speculative at best. Andrews does well to nod that down in the direction of Devlin. Devlin again. Thomas unable to hold it up this time, and Primus comes away with it for Southampton. Half an hour gone then. Southampton winless in their last 4 games, have lost 3 of those 4. Continuing to lead at Bramall Lane by 1-0. It's a rotten run that put the brakes on what was an excellent start to the season, where they lost just 1 of their first 6, but some defending to do here. They won't be able to do it as Andrews gets away from Mott and goes oh so close to an equaliser. Did everything right. Another direct ball, Mott battling stride for stride. So very, very close to scoring what would have been her 5th goal of the season. Something for Sheffield United to build on, though, perhaps. Without a doubt, their best chance of the game so far. Mott's touch, a little bit loose, tricky bouncing ball. O'Rourke has a couple of bites at that one to win it back. Lafayette now. Nice little back heel. Well, they have to take the impetus now, Sheffield United, after that chance in their attempts to get level by the break. Revel again, searching long. Andrews is onside. What a lovely flick. That is round the corner. Another brilliant chance, and this is really well saved. It was Lauren Thomas who got in behind, and the danger's not completely cleared just yet. Good challenge back there. The Saints will breathe a huge sigh of relief. Sheffield United continue to knock on the door here, trying to find a leveller. O'Rourke up to Andrews once more. This ball a touch astray, and Brazil seizes the chance to get Southampton back in possession and back down the other end of the pitch where they want to be. Pulled back, that'll be a free kick. Really clever play that from Ellie Brazil. Sensing her team are under pressure, there's a yellow card there as well for Kinzit. That's the Sheffield United skipper there, the first in the book. But Brazil sensing that her team, her midfielders, defenders just needed a bit of a breather. Stretching those long legs of hers, getting away from any sort of danger. She'll have cut a lonely figure up there as well. And so drawing that bit of contact, and even better from a Southampton perspective, seeing the Blade skipper Kinzit go into the book was exactly what they will have wanted. And this is a good opportunity as well to attempt to double their lead. Amy Palmer has placed the ball down. The goal scorer Simpson is there as well. Can't help but think that if it is Palmer to hit this, it's only going one place, and that's at goal. It will be Palmer. Low, driven, deflecting, and well held onto by Sian Rogers. Can't have been easy, that, through a bundle of players. Andrews and Mott will resume their foot race. O'Rourke's done brilliantly to keep a hold of that. Ball came at her so quickly. What a brilliant save Francis Stenson made a few moments ago. That's a wonderful little flick around the corner, isn't it? And Thomas does everything right, tries to put it down low. Stenson, who's not had an awful lot to do Had to be 100% switched on for that, and was. Bit of confusion as to whose throw it is. That'll be a free kick. McAloney brought down by the opposite number 10, Devlin. Striker's challenge, we'll chalk that one up to. Signed in the summer from Birmingham City, played for Rangers last season on loan. Inside the final 10 minutes of the first half. Bit of a risk there taken by Goddard as she smashed that across the back line. Rouse has it back for Sheffield United. Brazil's there though, nipping at her heels, tries to find Primus, but instead will find Bristow. Southampton finishing 8th last season. Their home form was the real problem. They won just 1 of their 10 matches at St Mary's. Challenge from Goddard. Devlin again with another striker's challenge, and this time I'm probably being kind, and yet the referee says play on. Charlie Devlin goes down inside the penalty area. Bashford smashes it away, and Jodie Hunter waves away everybody's protests. I am amazed that a free kick wasn't awarded initially. It's Goddard who comes across looking to shepherd it out, and surely that's a challenge from behind from Charlie Devlin, who then does fall rather easily inside the penalty area. Jodie Hunter was a tough tackling centre-half in her own right when she used to play for Leeds United. Should we be surprised that she's let so much go? I think she got the penalty question mark correct there when Devlin went down, but surely a question that probably never actually needed asking nor answering, because Amy Goddard was clattered by Charlie Devlin. And the last thing that either of the two football clubs or their head coaches need are more injuries. It's an extensive list as Simon Parker manages to take this opportunity with 7 minutes remaining at the end of the first half and a 1-goal advantage to get some added instructions onto those remaining players. Called it a massive game beforehand, did Simon Parker. He said it's the sort of game that if they can win and then get a positive result against Portsmouth, a side that they beat 5-2 earlier this season, then all of a sudden they're back in that race for the top 3. Good catch, meanwhile, there by Luke Turner. That bottle came in with gusto, didn't it? Turner, on the other hand, still says it's too soon to look at the league table, says it's early days. The thing is, it's not. At the end of today's play, half the season will be in the books. That came off of Devlin and out for a Southampton throw. All eyes, of course, will turn to Goddard to see if she is okay. Bristow for O'Rourke. Well, Southampton down to 10 for the time being. Amy Goddard is now back on again. The sort of knock that she'll still be feeling come Boxing Day. Lafayette. O'Rourke was directing traffic for a moment, but couldn't find her intended target. So McAloney has it back for the Saints. Palmer to Mott. Sheffield United are edging the possession despite trailing in the most important category, the one that you'll find in your top left-hand corner. O'Rourke takes no chances with Isabel Watts lurking nearby. Andrews held off the ball this time by Millie Mott. And Goddard sweeps up in behind. Brazil in behind and away again, though the referee puts one hand in the air, and that's because the assistant on the near touchline did likewise, except the only difference there is that there's a flag attached to the end of that hand. She's proved a real handful, though, in the first half, Ellie Brazil. She always is, to be fair. Comes from a great football lineage. Her dad is the former Sheffield United, Preston, Newcastle and Fulham player Gary Brazil. So we'll be very familiar with this part of the world. Gary, a good man who now works for the FA as the head of men's player recruitment and retention. I hope I got the full title correct there, Gary, if you are listening. Watts gives it away, but immediately makes amends for her error. And now Atlanta Primus, who also comes from good footballing stock, wins it back for Southampton. Simpson looking to pick out Brazil. Brazil's touch letting her down this time. To anybody that was wondering, Atlanta Primus, the daughter of former Barnet Reading and Portsmouth defender Linvoy Primus. Signed a new deal with Southampton this summer. Atlanta, not Linvoy. Already has 3 goals this season against Durham at Birmingham and at home to Ipswich. O'Rourke bundled out of play. But consistent as ever, Jodie Hunter okay with the added physicality. Making these players work for their Christmas break. Palmer. Across to Bourne. Simpson will be an option as ever. Searching ball, looking for Brazil once more. Headed away, falls out to Watts, who'll hit it. Brazil trying to get out of the way. Yet to score so far this season, Isabel Watts. Just 19 years old, signed her first professional deal with her childhood club, the team that she's been with since under 10s. Unsurprisingly, calling it a dream come true to play for Southampton. We have spies inside Bramall Lane. We're hearing there'll be a couple of minutes added on at the end of the first half. Not really where Revel wanted the ball, and left with very few options there other than to turn it up the touchline and out for a Southampton throw-in. We're edging ever closer to a half-time lead. Brazil to McAloney. Mott goes all the way back to her goalkeeper, Frances Stenson, maker of a brilliant save around 14 or 15 minutes ago to keep the score at 1-0 to Southampton. Sheffield United had two excellent opportunities in quick succession. Amy Andrews with one of them that flashed just wide. The other, Lauren Thomas, that drew the aforementioned good save out of Stenson. Bashford. Brazil will chase, pirouette and spin away from Lafayette. It's still Brazil. Brazil's ball almost deflects into the path, fortuitously, of another attacking Southampton teammate. I wonder whether or not she had the opportunity to hit this with her left foot. Jess Simpson's eyes must have lit up. She was almost the beneficiary of that deflection. Brazil, though, good work. Watched her do something similar at Gateshead a couple of weeks ago in that 1-0 defeat against Newcastle, where she cut in off of that inside right channel onto her left foot, and the opportunity to hit it with the left was there, but instead twisted back onto the right again, and that let the defenders get set. And that'll do us for half-time at a misty Bramall Lane. Sheffield United have some work to do to ensure that they can enter the Christmas break with something to smile about. Jess Simpson doesn't lack for it, though. The scorer of the only goal in that first half. Southampton started the day winless in their last 4 WSL 2 games, but Simpson's header means that they go in at the break with that 1-goal advantage. At Bramall Lane, Sheffield United 0, Southampton 1. A surprising and disappointing defeat 2 weeks ago at Bristol City put the brakes on what was a real resurgence for them, and in comparison to last season, well, let's remember the Blades only in the second tier still because they got a reprieve from relegation when Blackburn Rovers dropped out of the competition, have shown a marked improvement. They'll look to convert that into points here again this afternoon in front of their own supporters. Neither manager has made any changes at the break. That will be out of choice from a Saints perspective with Simon Parker, and out of necessity when it comes to Luke Turner. Southampton will go on the attack once more in the early stages here. Inviting ball, looking for Brazil, bouncing into the gloves of Rodgers instead. Sheffield United have only got 6 substitutes on the bench, and 4 of those are 18 or under. They've got an increasingly crowded medical room at the moment. A number of players remain out injured. Alyssa Ahern is the latest to head in that direction. She injured her ACL, sadly, against Durham last week in the FA Cup. Will have surgery in the new year, as will Grace Foy. And they're still waiting for the return of the likes of Ralph, Schofield, Graham and Taylor. Very much limping towards the winter break. And as things stand, Southampton will go 7th. They'd be just 2 points off Newcastle United, who are in 4th, but all of those other games are kicking off around us now. A reminder, you can watch them all on the WSL2 YouTube channel, where you find us this afternoon. McAloney challenging with Revel. Didn't know where the ball had gone for a moment. Rouse comes up with it. Cowan for Sheffield United. Chased by McAloney. That's a lovely turn from Devlin to get away from a couple of Southampton defenders. Bristow's touch lets her down. Something to be encouraged about here, perhaps, for the Blades. Something to be very encouraged about as that effort hits the post. Really good attempt. Danger not quite cleared away just yet. Tilly Bristow, the 18-year-old starlet, turning something out of nothing and inches away from an equaliser. Only 18 years old is Tilly Bristow. This is Cowan. Winding their sails after that. Devlin will try to keep the play alive. Simpson steps across and does well to get that as far away from danger as possible. McAloney wins it back off of Revel, goes down and gets the free kick. That's Luke Turner, who immediately saw his side onto a real upturn in form once all of the sort of noise around the managerial position died down earlier on this season. As the club's long-term assistant manager, he joined Sheffield United back in 2020. Primus will get away from a couple of Sheffield United defenders. Now the goal scorer Simpson looking for Primus and almost hitting the post in her own right, inadvertently as it may well be. Jess Simpson, who was on 2 different loan spells already in the last couple of seasons. Both of those coming at Bristol City, but now out to Southampton from parent club Manchester United. A second goal here for Southampton in the early stages of the second half would really lay a marker down. Stenson leaves that ball short, and Southampton are the architects of their own downfall. It's Andrews, it's saved, it's Devlin, it's hit the post and gone wide. Goodness me, what an opportunity that was for an equaliser. Amy Andrews really should do better. It's an awful mix-up at the back. Devlin does so well to find her. Brings the ball down well. You put that either side of the keeper, it's surely 1-1. Devlin on the follow-up, couldn't quite convert. Frustration growing. That thundered off the outside of the left-hand upright with such pace that it went out for a throw-in on this near touchline. Lafayette. These Sheffield United players, you can see it, encouraged by that momentary breakthrough there. Devlin gets away from Bourne. That's a lovely ball for Thomas. Mott does well defensively. That's a first corner kick of the game for the home team. Lauren Thomas, who almost equalised in the first half in her own right. It's Lafayette that will come across to take the corner kick. That is a bundle of players. Goalkeeper comes, just about gets a fist of it. Devlin attacking again, but Brazil back for Southampton to clear it away. That's a clumsy looking challenge. It'll be a Southampton free kick. The Saints yet to lose to a team currently below them in the table. Sheffield United being the only team they hadn't played prior to today. There's Collette ready to come on. Very much a mainstay of Southampton. She was part of the promotion side in 2022 when she was still just a teenage. But this is Brazil, but this is held up by the referee. Saw an infringement in the build-up there. Devlin looking for Thomas, winning a throw-in instead, taken quickly. Devlin again the target, does well to get herself in front of Palmer. Tara Bourne's clearance, and that battle resume between her and Devlin. Players falling all over the place, and Devlin, not for the first time this afternoon, is offside. There is an opportunity for that first change. So Megan Collett will replace Isabel Watts. Instructions for the skipper to relay to the rest of the teammates. Another change on the way shortly as well. It is a luxury that Luke Turner and Sheffield United really can't afford, is the ability to make changes at the moment. Very few anyway, if they are able to. As I mentioned already, just 6 subs, 4 of them teenagers, most of those unproven at senior level. Devlin comes away with the ball, leaving a Southampton player grounded. I think it's Ellie Brazil. Kinzit trying to find the overlap, and it's a really good recovering challenge. She was convinced, Collett, who's just come off the bench, that she not only won the ball but won her side a goal kick as well. But it is going to be a corner. Second lowest scorers, Sheffield United, in the division so far this season. It's where they do lack, but they really need to find one now. Devlin, deep. Good header away by Bourne, I think. May well have been Goddard. As McAloney lets the ball run. Held up by O'Rourke. Mott tries to clear that away. It's just about kept in. Kinzit, the skipper, and Lafayette back there. Brazil, again, gamefully chasing after everything, lost cause or not. Kinzit will look for Andrews down the left, who won't be able to keep that in. Can just about make her out through the mist and the murk here in South Yorkshire on an afternoon where the weather is doing its best impression of a Dickensian Christmas. Either that or Wuthering Heights. As we approach the hour mark, Amy Andrews, who has 4 goals to her name so far this season, a brace against Ipswich in a 3-2 win. She also scored at Crystal Palace in a 2-1 win. She has the rather unique ability to brag that if she scores in the WSL too, Sheffield United win. That is the way of it so far this season anyway. Free kick meanwhile against Sophie O'Rourke. Amy Goddard was on the wrong end of a tough tackle from Charlie Devlin in the first half. Had to receive some treatment, but doesn't seem to be showing any ill effects of it. Defending to be done with Collett on the back of Lafayette. We've come to a standstill. Eventually, that'll be a Sheffield United throw. Primus will come up with the ball after some good work from Brazil. Good tackling back though from Rouse to clear the danger away for Sheffield United. Palmer wins it back again for the Saints. That's the goal scorer, Jess Simpson. If you are just joining us, scored with 20 minutes on the clock, a looping header with the second ball from a corner kick. And if you did miss the goal, check back in on the WSL2 YouTube channel later on today. There will be extended highlights of all 5 of the games in action today. The other 4 were 2 o'clock kickoff, so still in the early stages. Revel being pressed by Brazil. Well, you heard the shout there from Amy Goddard, loud and clear. Powerful header won by the powerful centre-half, who scored on her Southampton debut on the opening day at Ipswich, but not since. Turned 27 on Tuesday, Amy Goddard. This will be Tara Bourne, though, to take the free kick. Bourne's ball, looking for Primus, who flicks it on. It grazes the roof of the netting. What an excellent delivery that was from Tara Bourne. Fizzes into the penalty area, and you know, that's deflected behind in the end by Jess Revel. Had it not touched the Sheffield United centre-half, I think Primus would have scored. She judged that header perfectly. What can they do for the resulting corner kick? Brazil gets the touch. Now Bashford, it's pushed down and it's in. And it's Goddard. And on the murkiest of days, Southampton have clear blue sky. They are marching towards the Christmas break. Smiles on faces with a 2-goal lead at Bramall Lane. But they were so unlucky not to score just a moment ago. The goalkeeper does well to make the initial save, but pushes it into such a dangerous area. 27 on Tuesday, Amy Goddard gets a late birthday present, an early Christmas gift, and the Saints lead at the Blades by 2-0. And I'd only just mentioned her a moment ago, hadn't scored since opening day on her debut at Ipswich Town. It's not really what she's there for. She's paid to keep him out at the other end, but popping up with the odd goal here and there is certainly going to do her and Southampton's chances of creeping up the WSL 2 table no harm whatsoever. Free kick, meanwhile, it'll be for Sheffield United. There appears to be some sort of confusion from the Blades skipper, Ella Kinzit. High defensive line for Southampton. Goddard will look to head it away. Much more at home doing things like that than banging it into the roof of the net as she just did at the other end, as there's an awkward bouncing ball for Mott. Spins fortuitously into the feet of Amy Andrews. Lafayette to Devlin, round the corner for Andrews. Good, enticing cross into the penalty area. Well dealt with as Simpson will smash it clear. And they've really got their work cut out for them now. Sheffield United, as mentioned, they struggle in front of goal. Only Ipswich Town have scored fewer WSL 2 goals so far this season. Tough to see how they come away from this fixture now with around 25 minutes or so remaining, with anything other than a point at best, and that would require some comeback. Well, just like the first goal, Southampton have scored on the second phase. You might even call this one the third phase from a set piece. That will not please Luke Turner and Sheffield United. Amy Goddard, on the other hand, absolutely thrilled as Bristow finds Kinzer. There's Goddard again, who at the moment is building quite the case for player of the match. At the bottom of your shot, you'll have seen Simon Parker heartily applauding the effort of his players. His pre-match thoughts said that he wanted to combine the last 2 performances. The defensive resolution that they showed, albeit in a 1-0 narrow defeat in the northeast against Newcastle United, combined with the ability to take their chances that they showed against lowly amateur Royston Town in the FA Cup last week, where they put 10 past them. So far today, his Christmas wish is being answered. Speaking of Newcastle, they lead on the south coast against Southampton's rivals Portsmouth by 1-0. Ipswich Town, meanwhile, are leading at Sunderland in the northeast. 2 teams that aren't playing today because they played in the week are Bristol City and Crystal Palace. That finished Bristol City 2, Palace 3. A lot of the WSL teams are in League Cup action today. Of course, Sheffield United knocked out of that competition by finishing second in their group to Liverpool. Southampton didn't even fare that well, as Andrews again tries to get away. Little tug back, I thought, that time from Simpson. That will be a free kick, though, as the Southampton player was caught on the clearance. It would have been borne. Jodie Hunter has been at the centre of several controversial decisions this afternoon. And hasn't enamoured herself to either set of players nor supporters. Long searching ball from Bourne. Good pluck out of the sky from Rogers. Cowan. Infield for Kinzit, who's caught by McAloney. It was Rouse who hit the deck. Bristow trying to keep it alive. Rouse does. Bristow inadvertently finds the skipper. And Rouse will lay chase, but Goddard will be favourites for it. Tries to shepherd it behind. Does do. She's been in the wars today. Games are decided on big moments because you can see there the match stats are fairly even. Couple of extra attempts on target for the visitors, but not a lot in it in terms of that, nor key passes, nor possession. But Southampton have just been that bit more clinical. The 2 or 3 brilliant chances that Sheffield United have had, they simply haven't taken today. It would be a very different feeling around Bramall Lane had they done. Substitutions on the way. Chloe Peplow was one of those players. 2 changes today. Simon Parker said she'll have to wait for her chance and will now get that. Signed a 2-year deal in the summer. Former Tottenham and Reading footballer. So far, so good for Parker and Southampton. Their impressive away form continues, though that was a rather robust-looking challenge from Goddard. A lingering glance in the direction of the referee there to check that she's not in any further danger of a card to match the colour of her kit. Part of the kit anyway. There is talk that Amy Palmer might just have received a yellow card in the aftermath of that challenge made. Perhaps because she felt that Goddard got the ball. Not for the first time today, a bit of confusion as to exactly what's happened around the decision. So here comes a Sheffield United change. And that is Eva Butler, who will replace Sophie O'Rourke. And with that yellow card, Amy Palmer's afternoon is done. She'll be replaced by Chloe Peplow. So that's a straight swap as they revert to the midfield partnership that was employed in their last league outing. Peplow and Bashford, very familiar with one another's games. Peplow's first act will be to try to defend this ball from Charlie Devlin, which has been disguised as a through ball down the left-hand side, and Stenson with one paw above her right hand pushing that behind for a corner kick. Well, there have been stretches of this game where Southampton have looked very comfortable indeed, and then Sheffield United have burst back into life, and they're looking to do exactly that here. In swinging ball, cleared away comfortably. Always frustrating when you see the corner kick not beat the player at the front post. Brazil trying to get that ball further away as Devlin's brought down. Play allowed to continue once more by the referee. And Cowan comes up with it. You see confirmation of those substitutions whizzing by in your left-hand corner. Inside the final 20 minutes of the game, a goal now for Sheffield United would certainly add some jeopardy to this fixture. So far, the perfect away date for Simon Parker and Southampton. Rouse concedes possession and Primus has it. Quiet in the second half, Atlanta Primus. Collett will battle with another substitute, Eva Butler, for that. It'll be a Southampton throw. And how they've longed for a performance like this, and still time to change it, but were it to stay the same, a result like this. A last win in the WSL 2 came back on the 12th of October, a 5-2 win at Portsmouth, who they will play in their next fixture on the other side of the winter break. At that point, 3 wins on the spin in all competitions. They were flying high in the WSL 2 table. There will be a residual fear that they could fall away again like they did last season. They won 4 of their first 7 in the last campaign. And then that form just fell off of a proverbial cliff. They would win just once after the 3rd of November. That's one of their final 13 matches, which ironically was here. Ironically, coincidentally, here at Bramall Lane in a 3-2 victory over Sheffield United. A strong challenge made in the middle of the midfield by Bashford. Brazil. So Collett looking for her skipper Primus. It's with Cowan instead. Stenson in the direction of Brazil. Lovely touch. Bashford finds Collett. It's well cut out by Lafayette. Slightly loose touch from Bourne. Followed through on Bristow, which will be a free kick. Did wonder if it would be given for a moment. Everyone too familiar by this point with the struggles that Sheffield United have had as a football club over the last couple of years. But youngsters coming through the academy like Tilly Bristow are reason for optimism for 2026, as are the improvements that they've made in comparison to last season. It falls to Bristow at the back post, and an inviting ball to the far stick is well headed clear. Mott tries to clear the lines further, but Thomas will get there first. Header goalwards from Revel, still forwards, and well over the top of the crossbar. Certainly looked like an uncomfortable landing for Revel. It's a good header at the back post from Bashford, but Mott's distribution only leads to more danger. Good last-ditch defending. It was brave last-ditch defending by a couple of Southampton players there, desperate to try and protect a rare clean sheet. Their last was on the opening day of the season. Long way to go, though, before they can jump back on that bus and get out of this miserly South Yorkshire weather and head back down to the south coast. The touch from Butler. And another one. That's lovely football. It just pushed too far out of her feet in the end, which opened the door for Amy Goddard. Another no-nonsense example of defensive tackling from the scorer of Southampton's second goal. Andrews falling over as she makes contact with the ball. That'll be a goal kick for Southampton. She's had a frustrating afternoon, Andrews. She can smile through it all. Often their best outlook. Excellent chance to score in the first half before putting the ball on a plate for Lauren Thomas to do likewise. Amy Andrews with 4 goals so far this season. Simpson will chase. She started the scoring. Won't get there, though. Looping header with 20 minutes on the clock. You'll be able to catch highlights of this game and all of the WSL 2 fixtures on the YouTube channel that you're currently watching. WSL 2 YouTube channel. Great place to be. You can watch every single game this season. As we'll see young Isla Phillips come on to replace Lauren Thomas. Just 17 years old is Phillips, played 7 minutes off the bench in the 4-1 loss to Liverpool in November in the League Cup. Certainly seen as one for the future, making her debut when she was just 16 years old. And Lauren Thomas, as she takes her place on the substitutes bench, will be left to wonder over the winter break what might well have happened if she'd been able to find the back of the net in the first half when she went one-on-one with Stenson in the Southampton goal. Brazil chases after it. The assistant's flag's up on the far side, though, for a free kick to Sheffield United. One clearance from Cowan is a good one to initially find Devlin. Butler has it, who switched over to the right-hand side to allow Phillips to go down the left since that latest change. Little flick from Devlin. Very neat indeed. Butler's right-footed cross is a good one. Headed away by Mott, but only as far as Andrews. Cowan. So Butler once more. Oh, she dances away from Simpson and puts the dangerous cross into a dangerous area. And Southampton have done really well to clear their lines there. Getting into the territory now for the Saints of anywhere will do with these defensive clearance, with just over 8 minutes remaining of normal time. As things stand, shouldn't think we'll have loads of stoppage time at the end of this one. It's not been a game that's been peppered with stoppages. As it stands, Southampton will be 7th in the WSL 2 table and 4 points outside of the top 3. That all-important 3rd position this season, which could well result in promotion to the WSL. On the other hand, Sheffield United have 12 points, and as things stand, that would leave a 3-point cushion to the bottom 2. Bourne clearing that, not getting the purchase on the clearance that she'll have wanted, but the throw-in's taken quickly, and Southampton will have to switch on, and they do so with Peplow. There's the teenager, Phillips. Couldn't quite bring the ball under a spell. Lafayette trying to shepherd that a long way out with collet draped all over her, just about did enough. Easy to forget how far Sheffield United have come, in a sense, having finished rock bottom of this division last season. They've already long since bettered their entire effort from the 24-25 campaign in what is arguably this season a more competitive division, and I'm not sure too many people would take the opposite side of that argument. I think most concede that the competition in the WSL 2 has gone up a notch. Chaos here as every player is expecting a free kick and the referee is content to let proceedings continue. Southampton come up with it. Sally Brazil on the far touchline, being escorted, almost like a maitre d' would escort somebody to their table there, off the pitch by Lafayette. Rather peculiar passage of play, this. The assistant on the far side now, I've noticed on 2 or 3 occasions, has started to award free kicks on behalf of the referee, putting flag in the air for moments where I believe that there's been too much physical contact. Otherwise, I think the referee would have been content to, again, just let play go on. It's a really dangerous opportunity for Southampton. They've been deadly from dead ball situations so far today. That's where their 2 goals have come from. It's Simpson who stood over the ball, the scorer of the first. Bending that ball in, Bashford getting contact and then flicking off of a Sheffield United head last. And that'll be a 3rd corner kick of the game for the visitors. Lafayette with the telling touch on this occasion. Less than 5 minutes remain. Another victory for Sheffield United at some point down the line will more than double last season's total tally. That in swinging corner. Again, Mary Bashford. She's not the biggest player on the pitch, but seems to find herself in the right place so often from these in-swinging balls. Tara Bourne with the cross. Needed just a glance, that, didn't it? Call it a little turn round the corner, flicked on by Brazil, and Primus might well be in. She might well try her luck from range as well. Her luck's not in. Didn't get anywhere near enough on that to try and catch the goalkeeper out. That's about as cynical as it comes, and will be an obvious yellow card for Mary Bashford. No letting that one go from the referee. Nice turn from Tilly Bristow. She's shown real promise this afternoon in what looks to be a losing effort. Another change here for Sheffield United as you see Abigail Jones make her way on. It's another teenager. She's played a couple of times so far this season, though both of those came in the League Cup. Ball breaks to Isla Phillips. Now Andrews. Bristow wants it and gets it. Bristow. First time effort's well blocked. Confirmation that it was the skipper, Ella Kinzit, who was withdrawn for the teenager Abby Jones. And first WSL2 appearance for Jones. Those two previous had come in the League Cup at Sunderland and against Liverpool. And perhaps a final change for Simon Parker's Saints, as Abby Ferguson will replace the skipper, Atlanta Primus. Didn't manage to get a goal today. It won't bother her one bit, I don't think, on that long bus ride back to Southampton later. Ferguson, who signed from Scottish title-winning Hibernian in the summer. Eva Butler. That's away from a couple of Southampton defenders really nicely indeed. It's not a bad ball either. This will be Rouse inside the final minute of the 90. If there is to be a comeback, it needs to happen soon for Sheffield United, but less talk of comeback and more talk of counter-attack now for Southampton with Ellie Brazil. And look at those yellow shirts flooding forwards, trying to pick out Collett. Well blocked by the hard-working Lafayette. Combination of Mott and Brazil win the ball back for Southampton, but that's put into touch by Bashford. Be curious to know who you think is the player of the match. Make sure you can comment in the box below the screen that you're watching. I think goal scorer Amy Goddard's got a good shout for it, the centre half for Southampton. 27 on Tuesday, just gone. There's 4 minutes are added on. 4 more minutes for Sheffield United to try and find a lifeline. Just 4 minutes for Southampton. Their first 3 points in the league for well over 2 months. Cowan favourites for this. Ferguson will try to make something of it anyway. Sheffield United wanted a free kick and eventually get one. It's Rouse who went down. Bristow made like she was going to help Simpson up. Simpson, who scored the first goal 20 minutes into the game with a header. Some suggestion that the early taking of the free kick was blocked by one of the Southampton players there, which you might well have overheard the supporters, coaching staff shouting that's a yellow. No card coming though. Lafayette. Whoever was forwards. The assistant's flag is up though for offside against the tall centre half. Jess Simpson got the goal scoring underway in that first half. Ball bouncing for her so nicely as she cushioned that header into the back of the net. And the second goal also came from a set piece. This time turned home by the centre half, Amy Goddard. Found the roof of the net after Bashford drew a save out of Sian Rogers. It's those 2 goals that are going to equal 3 points for Simon Parker's side. Devlin's worked hard today. That's a good ball down the left side of the penalty area, and a nice touch as well for Andrews, who's still going. Amy Andrews with the effort is blocked. Revel. Across to Butler. Now Cowan. Backs to the wall for the time being for Southampton. Though edging closer, surely, to that precious 3 points. Ferguson shows good composure to find Peplo. Those are the two players that were taken out of the starting lineup this afternoon, now off the substitutes bench to see things home for the Saints. Bashford, long ball forward, looking for Collette, who had lost sight of it for a moment. That's good defending. As Millimot gets the right side of Andrews. It's been a good tussle between them two today. Andy Jones. Low ball, cleared away by Goddard, who roars in celebration of that. Just how she roared in celebration of her goal. She knows the race is all but run and that the winter break is just seconds away, as are those 3 points for Southampton. Devlin's ball, trying to find Phillips, behind for a goal kick. And there is the full-time whistle. Her first 3 points in the WSL for Simon Parker for well over 2 months. That will come as huge relief for the Saints, who sign off for the winter break with all 3 points, thanks to a goal from Jess Simpson and a second of the afternoon from the centre-half, Amy Goddard. It means Christmas delight for Southampton, but Christmas blues for the Blades, who lose at home and will have a long winter's break to mull over, where they'll feel they could well improve. All smiles for Southampton. That'll make the long journey back to the south coast and the Christmas turkey taste all the sweeter. At Bramall Lane, it's finished Sheffield United 0, Southampton 2. Well, it was a tight affair, as you can see those stats, but Southampton were just more clinical between the two teams. The chances were there for Sheffield United to possibly get something out of the game, but where Southampton converted theirs, the Blades failed to do so at the other end. Not sharp enough today. Simon Parker, the Southampton manager, made it very clear before the game how big this was, how important it was. It could be like a sliding doors moment in their season. He said, win this and then get a positive result in the South Coast Derby on the 10th of January. And they'll be pushing for the top 3 once more. That is the goal. We were the early kick-off today. The other 4 fixtures have just reached half-time. And Birmingham City leading against Durham by 1-0. It'll be intriguing to see how top-of-the-table Charlton Athletic managed to play out proceedings in South London against Nottingham Forest. They'll be top, Charlton, at Christmas, no matter what happens today. An early lead for Newcastle United there will make that long journey to Portsmouth all the sweeter. And keep an eye on Ipswich Town, 1-0 in front at Sunderland. That would be a very, very important 3 points and a development at the bottom of the WSL 2 table that now the likes of Sheffield United, after today's defeat, would have to sit up and pay attention to. Well, as the two teams get their final instructions, their final feedback from the coaching staffs, we'll take you through the highlights from that game here at Bramall Lane. And the opening goal in the game came after 20 minutes. That's Palmer's corner, a header up in the air that cushioned gently onto the forehead of Jess Simpson, who scored her third goal of the season. It couldn't have fallen to her any better, really. Still had a lot to do, though. Look at the bundle of Sheffield United players near the goal line, looping perfectly over their head. Ellie Brazil was a real handful, as usual, all afternoon. Lovely little check back there, the ball deflecting almost into the path of Simpson once more. I just wonder whether or not the shot was an option here with the left foot. Sheffield United fought to try and find a breakthrough of their own. It's one of their best chances in the second half, as Tilly Bristow did well to get the other side of Goddard, crashing the ball off of the foot of the right-hand post. And Southampton almost played themselves into a spot of bother here. Devlin did well to find Andrews. Andrews finished, though, letting her down, as Devlin then crashed the ball off of the outside of the post. Difficult ball to bring down, I grant you. Had she been able to find the bottom corner there, surely Sheffield United would have been level. Southampton close to increasing their lead to 2-0. Bourne's ball, Primus's header, it then flicked off of Revel. But their second goal did follow soon after. This was Bashford's effort, it was saved, but Rogers pushed the ball into the path of Amy Goddard. Couldn't believe her luck. The centre half with a striker's finish into the roof of the net. Sheffield United continue to push down the stretch for a lifeline. And that was the final chance of the game. And when that went begging, Sheffield United's race was run. And Southampton will sign the autographs, take the pictures, and enjoy their Christmas. A precious 3 points, a first in the league since the middle of October. It'll all make Christmas all the more enjoyable for Simon Parker and his side. Thank you for being with us on the WSL2 YouTube channel this afternoon. Still so much live action with the second half of 4 games to come. But we appreciate your company. Have a wonderful Christmas and a happy New Year, and we will see you in 2026.